In this episode of The Tripod...
Hello?
Sean is using sound effects on the podcast like I do, and it's just beautiful.
Okay.
I just wanted to ring you and say that. Okay, love you, bye.
Bye.
Welcome to The Tripod.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29 of The Tripod. My name is Sean O'Riordan and I am the youngest host of The Tripod. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts who will now introduce themselves in no particular order.
I am the oldest member of The Tripod.
And I am average.
In every sense of the word.
Average. You could have just said middle. Don't know, you're in
Is
between.
that not the same thing though, no?
Yeah, it is
Depends.
actually, yeah. Yeah, it is. You're not wrong there.
If you're the middle child, you're not the average child, because I'm the middle child in my family and I'm by far the least average of the three of us.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Well, you're an average photographer.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, what are we, about 15 seconds in? That's
I thought my
59
mic was
seconds.
off. Sorry. No.
59
Kevin's
seconds
a
in.
lovely photographer.
That was
Jesus.
wild. I love the way it's back on Kev now again. I got a mic grilling last week. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Judging by the a lot of messages I got, I think everyone enjoyed the podcast last week.
Oh man, I listened to it again today and it was just like, honestly, it was so good. And that was all Ronan's brainchild, but I don't want to give him any credits because he's a big
don't.
meanie today.
I'll hold it over you forever if you ever say anything nice about me.
I know he
Oh,
will.
lads, it was actually, what was I going to say? The amount of people who messaged me and said, Sean, like, we copped, like, by, like, question 3, after the hyperfocal distance thing, they were like, oh yeah, we knew something was up straight away. And I was like, I had no idea.
Excuse me,
Genuinely.
so the listeners are questioning my ability as well. That's it, lads, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, no way. No way. No one, by the way, no one knew what the hyperfocal distance equation was, just saying. So yeah, it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Very good, Ronan. Only you could come up with such a
Dastardly,
Conniving and
skeevious,
manipulative quiz.
conniving plan to bring one of your fellow hosts down to earth again.
down to a rubble almost.
Broken man. I couldn't speak for the rest of the episode, sure. I was staring into the abyss.
That's one of the episodes that I wish we had on video for future,
yeah.
because some of the clips that would have come out of that, like if people could have seen you with that forlorn stare, just staring off into the distance, it was bloody hilarious.
When I lost my after the human eye question, like if people didn't realise, like I threw the headphones on the desk, I got up and I just stood on as if I'd missed a 2-yard sitter, like I just stood with my hands on my head. Just like no
Class.
way, roaring into the microphone from the far side of the bedroom.
It was brilliant.
But anyway, how was the week?
Decent.
Okay, have you started a new job?
Started a new job. So far so good. Only a couple of days in. So yeah, grand lease plan. If anyone's looking for a leasing contract on their car, let me know.
A lease contract in your car. Can you explain how that works?
So if someone wants to like lease a car, you know, the companies, instead of buying cars, they will lease the cars.
Yes.
Because it makes financial sense rather than the companies having to outlay, you know, big money for a car. They can just lease the car. Lease plan are like number one global throughout the world. And yeah, that's me. I'm the new like corporate sales executive. So like a suit by day and then camera straps and microphones by night.
You shot sunrise this morning in Dublin. Was that on your? Do you just bring your camera everywhere with you? Was it your phone?
Always, yeah. It's always with me, yeah. But yeah, that was literally just like right outside the door of where I am. It was nice. It was just one of those, just by chance, the sun just looks deadly. So yeah, there's not much around. It's in Leopardstown, so there's not much around there to be honest to be shooting. But I'm gonna get the drone up in the sky in the next day or two, I'd say, and have a gander.
Nice.
See what's around. Be nice.
Italy. Ronan, you looked like you were going to say something there a minute ago.
It's funny because this week I was going through my finances for 2021 and I'm trying to plan, and I was thinking, here's Kev with the new job. So,
Yes.
Kevin, I want a Tesla Cybertruck, please.
I can sort you out with either
2021.
a personal lease, or if you want to run it through a company, just let me know. We'll sort you out.
Nice. Here we go. Plug in your new company there.
Absolutely, to be delighted.
Do you have like really nice cars?
They have every car. Yeah, I mean, they can lease any car and every car and anything that anyone wants.
Can you get my Cybertruck?
100%. If you want it, we can get it. Any car, any place, anywhere, I believe is the tagline. I read that in like a handbook or something earlier on.
Before the interview, you picked up a magazine off the table in the waiting room.
Exactly. So yeah, look, so far so good. The people are really sound. There's actually there's a lady who I haven't met yet, but I've met her like to say hello. But one of the lads was telling me she's leaving next week to pursue a career as a full-time photographer. So I will definitely be plugging the tripod to her.
Jesus,
And
yeah. Find out what she's doing. Or what genre is she doing?
You know what I mean? We might even follow her on social media, because you know the way a lot of the times you don't know people's real name. You only know their Instagram name or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a slight possibility that like one of us may follow her, or she may follow one of us, or maybe neither of those things have happened. But I think it's cool. That's what she's doing now in the next couple of weeks.
The Irish photography community is small, like.
Yeah, someone knows her. Like, I'll find out her name. She is originally Welsh, I believe. Now, I haven't spoken to her, but yeah, look, that's cool. If you're listening already, hey, come over and say hello to me in the canteen next time with my face mask on. And yeah, Ronan, how was your week? Sorry.
It was grand, thanks.
Yeah, did you do anything nice?
No, I'm very much distancing myself from everything at the moment. I haven't been doing social media. I haven't been doing any real client hunting or anything like that. I've just been chilling with the kids. I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. Ever since the hour changed and we're getting into the winter and that, I'm just like, no, I'm going to take time for myself, look after my own head. And I'm being very selfish, which is unlike me, and I'm loving it.
Do you know what, man? That's allowed sometimes, though. Absolutely, it's required. I think sometimes to just have a little switch off.
The winter's a tough time, yeah, especially when it starts getting.
Isn't it? Like, it was dark when I left the house this morning and dark when I got home, and it's just like, lads,
yeah,
it's woeful. Like,
I'm the same. Yeah, it's dark when I'm leaving. It's dark when I'm coming home.
It's just like
school and
class.
Stuff, so.
Yeah. So look,
but here we are.
It'll be over again soon. Before we know it, it'll be springtime, and we'll be laughing. What are we talking about today, Mr. O'Riordan?
We are going to be transported to.
Oh my days!
Isn't that just beautiful?
Sean did a thing. Oh my god, this is suddenly the greatest episode ever.
Tones.
Hang on. No.
For those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. The hatred of men will pass, and fear the way of human progress. For those who can hear me, I say.
Hello?
Sean is using sound effects on the podcast like I do, and it's just beautiful.
Okay.
I just wanted to ring you and say that. Okay, love you, bye.
Bye.
It's so serene and relaxing. Sorry, I have to tell my wife. We've talked about this day. We stay up late at night watching Netflix and going, one day it will happen. And today is that day. This is just beautiful.
That was gorgeous. That was kind of like a little mini meditation just lashed into the tripod.
Wasn't it? That's like, I was thinking about it, right? And I was like, I'd love to have like real soothing, like ocean noises. Do you know?
Look at
That
this.
is.
This is
that
just.
is
I'm just
beautiful.
gonna lap this up now.
How relaxing is that?
Can we talk over that? Because
Yeah,
that'd
we
be
can
lovely.
try.
Turn
we
it
can try.
down a small bit, maybe. Can you do that? Oh yeah. Okay.
That low?
Everybody, welcome to the ASMR tripod.
That's exactly what it is like, and this is where I wanted to start. Like, this is one of my favorite things about Seascape photography is just there's probably no other location of photography or genre of photography that you can just stand, close your eyes, and just be absolutely like transported. Do you know what I mean? Like, just listening to that, like, especially at dawn.
Well, I mean, concert photography is very different.
Yeah, but I don't shoot. Like, I can't make that reference because I don't shoot concerts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But depending on the gig, like if you're at a Slipknot gig and you close your eyes, I'm pretty sure you'd be transported somewhere. But that probably the motion of the crowd.
You'll be physically transported somewhere, not mentally.
Yeah, or maybe if you went to see like Passenger, you could close your eyes and have a moment. But sorry, I'm not trying to take away from what you're saying because you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
There is nothing better.
I think you are taken away from what he was saying, but however, go on.
I'm not. There's nothing better. Like, in all honesty, it's just it's amazing.
It is, and that's what we were talking about in today's podcast, Seascape photography. We actually planned this in last week's episode. Literally, Ronan said, "Why not cover Seascape photography next week?" And that was it. That was planning done. So here we are.
Without me, this
So
shit
that's why we're
sinks.
talking about it.
And literally, this Seascape photography has not come up in conversation until approximately half an hour ago. So, do you know, here we are.
Yeah, when I said, lads, what are we talking about today?
So, the way we're going to break it down for you, I want us to discuss our favourite time to shoot seascapes, okay? Our favourite lens to use, our favourite location, and possibly a compositional tip or favourite kind of compositional technique when we're at the
Oh, he's
seaside.
spoiling us.
I know,
Does
yeah.
does that sound okay?
This
I'm
tickles
enjoying
my
this.
fancy.
Okay, perfect. And what is most impressive is I planned this in the car on the way home in my head.
Good man.
Okay,
That's because you
so-
were in like the creative, mode from teaching.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I spent 2 hours cutting up timber after school. But look, that's a creative
What's
art
more
as well.
creative than cutting up timber, man? Like, you know what I mean? Were you using an axe?
No, I was using a saw, Kevin. It's 2020.
Oh, okay.
Do you know, a
I just
proper
had visions of Sean like with an axe. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back.
We
stop
don't want to
getting
hear about
distracted.
those dreams.
It was
them to
one
yourself.
time, lads.
In a
It was
lumberjack
one
outfit.
time, and you had a bigger beard.
So we'll start off. Favourite time to shoot seascape photography. And if you're a landscape
7:15.
it's kind of... Okay, so I'm going to say a sunrise for you.
Yes.
Ronan?
Yeah. No. Sorry. I'm being serious. Yeah. So I much prefer sunrise for a seascape.
I'm rubbing off on this lad.
You are, you little scoundrel. Yeah, I think sunrise it's a lovely time because it's kind of like a sunrise on its own is magical, and then being by the sea is beautiful. When you combine them both, and you get the epic light along with the sea, it's an experience. You know what I mean? That's
It really
that's
is.
proper. I'm just calmed down again now. You press that and like But yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the whole experience that you get from a sunrise shoot by the sea is glorious, albeit absolutely freezing this time of year.
Absolutely. 100%. Agree. Ronan?
Baltic.
My preferred time to shoot a seascape would be in the middle of the day on a really overcast, cloudy, horrendous day. Do you know those days where the sky just looks like an A4 page? Those kind of days, like
Really? Go on.
or the blue hour. But
Okay.
I like to do a bit of I'd prefer the blue hour into sunset because I like to blend in the previous exposure where there was a bit of warm light.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
firstly
Singing off my
the
hymn sheet. Go on.
the shooting in the middle of the day on like a really horrible rotten winter's day, which we will have plenty of at the moment, you can get away with a good exposure probably like a fifth of a second without any filters. That'll give you a nice bit of movement in the sea without absolutely milking it. And then if you go in and you get your A4 page of a sky, pull a grad filter over it, dehaze it, clarity it, texture it, and it'll just become the moodiest thing you've ever seen in your life. You'll be able to see all the detail you couldn't see with your eye. And it's just, you can get some really cool, even black and white work. If you're not even into black and white, just Seascapes are great for that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you have lovely soft light on those days, because obviously the big blend sky acts as a big diffuser.
It's your big, huge soft, yeah.
Yeah, so like you can create those, like that's, do you ever see that real minimalist seascape stuff where it's so
Love it.
pleasing to look at? And generally that's been shot on like overcast days.
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely a solid time to shoot, and I think you may get a bit more action out of the waves if it's a bit moody outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends.
that's why I like the blue hour as well, because the blue hour you have that faded light, so you're not getting that harsh light. I think basically, what I don't like in a seascape is harsh light, because especially if you have a lot of wave action and there's a lot of whites of the waves ebbing and flowing in, like that'll really catch the light, and it's really hard to get a good decent exposure. And when it comes to blending seascapes, it can be difficult because your tripod could be sinking in the sand, the wind could be whacking off it, you could be getting camera movement every time you press the button, and it's just a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
I agree. You get loads of really hot white spots on or white areas on the waves when it's really harsh light. I love like in seascapes, the palette of colour seems to be really important, doesn't it? Or like, and let's say not talking about black and white photography, that's kind of a different entity, but like the palette of colour, and a real nice transition between sky and water and foreground is really important, and it kind of helps to tie everything in together. Do you know?
Yeah, especially if it's a calming kind of like lovely peaceful seascape.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got that like kind of lovely kind of soft palette almost, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just very nice and pleasing to look at, and you know, it kind of almost brings you there when you're looking at the photo. And then on the flip side, when it's, you know, an angry sea and it's like big contrasting colours, it's beautiful. I love seascapes, you know that.
So for me, it's kind of like, I suppose I'm not really answering it properly, but it's kind of like dependent. If I want to kind of head out and get a really nice, try and get a nice vibrant sky, I'll always go for sunrise, because as we all know in Ireland, low pressure is never far away. So when you've low pressure at sunrise, you'll often get your nice colourful sky. You know, if there's rain coming, like that saying, red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. So if there's rain coming that day, you'll often have your colourful sky like what was there actually this morning. So we're now recording.
Lovely to
So we're recording this on Thursday night, Thursday the 12th, and then thinking all along the east and even here in the south this morning there was a beautiful sky, and lo and behold it was an absolutely horrendous day. But I love shooting sunset, lads, and I love shooting sunset in the golden hour and the ocean, and really getting that beautiful side light. My favourite seascape shot was my recent one of Fenor, and it was really windy, and I love shooting on those sand dunes where, what's that grass called that grows on the dunes? Do you know
grass.
what? There's a specific type, it's like reeds, like, but there's a name for it. Any idea?
Long grass.
Is it actually called long grass?
Sandy grass.
You know the kind of grass I'm on about, like that grows on the dunes. Like,
I've
I
heard
love
of it,
shooting that, because especially when it's like waving, and like for that shot, like I was still using a half a second shutter speed. I was like, Joel, I don't care that those rushes are going to be blurred. Do you know what I mean? Because it kind of adds to the like calming effect of the image. So I love trying to use that side light. So for me, probably sunset heading into the golden hour. Using the side light, I'll say, will probably be my favourite time, do you know. And then if I'm chasing colour, I'll go down to the Copper Coast, do you know. So that's skipping on to questions. So that's our favourite time to shoot seascapes. Okay, lenses. Ronan, yes sir.
Do you know what that grass is called?
What?
Beach grass. I just googled it. I googled sand dune grass and it came up with beach grass as the answer. So I'm
there we
sticking
go.
with that because it makes
Beach grass.
absolute sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's probably fairly obvious. So yeah, okay, we'll go with beach grass. Ross Bay-
Marram grass. That's what it is. Sorry,
What's it called?
marram. MARRAM.
Can we stick with
I've heard
beach
that
grass?
before.
It's much better.
Beach
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah, we'll
Dune
beach
grass.
Okay.
Happy days.
So, lenses. Have we got a particular lens for Seascapes?
I genuinely don't have a favourite or a preferred one. It depends how I'm feeling, and depends what I want. If I've plenty of time, I'll actually just try loads. You know what I mean? I'll chop
Yeah.
and change and swap around and kind of see what I end up fancying and see what I'm happy with. Yeah. Like I'd love a better zoom lens. I think. I'm not like saying my lens isn't capable of doing what I want it to, but I would like something that's better
Okay.
for shots like the one you posted the other day, which blew my mind, Shawnee.
Okay. Thank you.
Because that's
Okay, so if
that's-
when there's storms
that's why.
about, you'd like to have your zoom lens try and capture the waves better.
yeah, and not risk my life by being very close to them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And I think that's a good point, a good tip actually, just for people listening. Like, maybe we'll get onto tips in a bit, but like, don't risk your life for a photograph.
Yeah, respect the ocean, definitely. That is
It's
something.
big.
I was
That's a
going to speak
big
about that
boy.
in terms of photographing waves and tides coming in and trapping people and stuff. Just so, like, yeah, we'll get onto that. That photo was taken on a 7300mm lens, just for
Yeah.
so 300mm long, and you can even go longer. I think if you even a longer focal length would be even better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elaine Farrell, she's from Doolin. She shoots lots of storms. She has the 200 to 500 to Nikon, which is an absolutely savage lens. Yeah, but for me, 24-70 for Seascapes. I don't need a wide angle. If I had a 24mm prime, I would pick that as my
Yeah.
favorite lens for Seascapes.
I think 24 is wide enough for most things in
is.
life. Though, you know what I mean? Like that you want.
Yeah.
Like
And you still get some
realistically,
nice compression because
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
not super wide, like so.
Yeah, like you
for
don't
me,
need
24. Yeah,
architecture. Maybe you might need something wider.
possibly, yeah. But
other than that, like you don't need it. You really don't.
yeah, 24-70, and sometimes I use filters.
Yeah.
A lot of time I don't. So, yeah, Ronan,
Hello.
how are we?
Hey, friend.
Hi guys. I hate shooting wide, as people probably know, but it's the one time I will go wide, and I'll use my 24 end of my 24-70. But I actually do when I'm getting it wide, I want it in on top of the action. So I get the camera in as close as I can, focus on my foreground and get the wave action, get all that lovely foreground interest. And then I'll actually zoom in a bit more and take another frame focused at the back and then do a focal blend to kind of combine the two. So you get all the impact of your foreground and then all the impact of your background. And it's just some loveliness. You get like a good kind of perspective, as it were, instead of just getting the classic wide angle shot.
Yeah, can I ask you a question about focal blending? Right?
No.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to ask you anyway. So, let's say you're there, you have a camera tripod set up, and you've taken your 24mm shot. Okay.
Yes.
Do you keep the camera tripod, like everything exactly the same, and just like rotate the lens in to zoom in, or do you have to move it to align it up differently? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I pick a point in the scene that would be easily blendable, and with a seascape that's often quite easy because you either have the horizon in the distance or you have a big section of sea that is kind of in no man's land. It's dead space anyway. So I'd kind of frame up the zoomed in shot to incorporate that, use them to match up both the shots, and then mask in either the horizon or the dead space in the sea, so that from there up then is the focal blend.
Okay, right. That makes sense.
That's exactly how I do it as well.
I've never ever done a focal blend. It's something I really want to do because I've often been photographing nice scenes with like lovely mountains in the background, but the mountains just get lost.
Yeah.
You know, and I've lovely foreground interest, and I'd love for the mountains to be more better, a more impactful part of the image, but they just get lost in the background because I'm shooting with a wide angle, you know. So focal blending is definitely something I'd like to dabble in.
It's the way forward, man. It's the way forward.
2470, and Kev, you want your
Whatever.
you want a zoom lens, or you're not pushed.
I want something zoomy. Like the 70 to 300, the Sigma that I have is grand, and like it can tick a few of the boxes that I want. But I just want something better.
Okay.
I always want stuff though.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
Lads, hang on a sec. We have a visitor.
Peter or Kevin?
Hello, Peter.
Have
Is
you
it
a cat
Pather,
called
is it?
Kevin as well?
No, I have a cat called Ed and another cat called Lilt. Here, let's take a screenshot there for everyone. Oh, Peter did not want to be in the photograph.
I see that, yeah.
He wasn't happy.
Well, you actually want him to come on screen, then he doesn't like.
It's classic. That's cats for you.
Classic.
But
Yeah, these
Peter
most
has been
unloving creatures in the world.
voted as the third most popular, third oldest.
Third oldest.
I can't
yeah.
remember.
We won't bring up the popular poll.
It's even Stevens.
I know we called it quits there yesterday. So, but look, I'm a very humble. I'm a bad loser, but I'm a humble winner. So we won't mention it. Like, you know, when I said I'm the youngest host, I could have said something else.
Yeah,
Ronan's gonna come in now and eat the head off me.
There's nothing humble about you. Spreading lies and fake news. I won, yes, or whatever. Like, yeah, untouchable. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Untouchable.
Sean
Untouchable.
Hashtag untouchable.
Anyway, yes, for everyone asking, Peter's grand. He says hello. Thank you.
Here, lads, I found an example to show you, and this is from a workshop, but I'll probably post this up on maybe the Tripod's IGTV just to show you as an example of the focal blending. But just for a second, I'm going to show it to the lads, and then I don't know, we'll cut that out, and then they can be like, and maybe if you want to talk about focal blending. I don't know, because it'd be boring for everyone to listen to this bit.
We will visually describe it. Okay. So we have been taken to Hookhead, okay, in County Wexford. So Ronan has shot this from as you're driving towards Hook Lighthouse and looking, it's like directly in front of you. There's like rocks and stuff you can pull in on the right hand side. That's very good. That's literally like,
see the effect there at the end, that last day.
That is amazing.
But what I was saying to everyone on the workshop there, like, see this picture here now. This is the wide angle shot, the 24 straight out of camera. And I was shooting repetitively to try and get the coolest waves I could, and kind of following a wave on the way in as it was coming in to try and track it and get it on each of the different rocks to blend. But when you're, Sean, you'll probably know more so than Kevin maybe, when you're actually standing in this location down a Hookhead, that blend, that's more kind of what it looks like to the human eye.
What it looks like,
Yeah, but when you're using, it's like what you were saying about your wide angle with the mountains there, Sean. When you're using a wide angle, like the background just disappears. There's no compression at all, whereas the human eye has a bit of compression. So that's why I do
Is that because of the aperture
blends.
of 8.4?
8.3 actually. See, there you go. Proof that you've done that.
I'm glad that the thing is, you will never forget that for as long as you live. By the way,
I actually
I'm just
won't.
going to say that, like, you'll never ever forget it.
I actually won't. But they say the human eye sees in and around 35 millimeters, don't they? That's kind of the focal length we see in.
Yeah, without your peripherals, it's kind of it's your squared view without your excess.
Does that ever happen to you then? Like, do you ever see a scene and you're like, geez, that looks really nice to my eye. Like, I want to shoot that exactly how I see it. And you shoot at 35 millimeters and it looks nothing like what you actually see. Do you know what I mean? I have to wonder what's grand there, but it's probably due to your peripheral, as you say, your peripheral vision. Like, we probably have a slightly wider one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Once again, we strayed totally off topic, but well, we haven't really. It's still that's a really good tip when it comes to seascapes. Yeah, and like Ronan, you should post that up because that's actually a phenomenal difference. Like it really makes the image, you really bring the lighthouse into the shot.
I'm
And
giving
it's
away
more
my
real
secret
to life.
sauce though.
Huh?
I'm giving away my secret sauce from my workshops. But now I'll
Yeah.
post it up, yeah. I don't mind posting it up. Like
Diddly.
there's a bit more to it than that little video. That little video is more an example, so
Yeah.
It's lovely though.
Lovely. So, favourite location, lads, for seascapes?
the sea. Or
Okay,
the
It's a
coast.
great start. Great start. Can I
you.
steal your one, Ronan? Because it's my favourite location also.
Snapsies. Unreal.
Yeah, Black Castle. It's beautiful and cold, and it has horrible but beautiful memories for me. It's just a great place. It's a great place to go. Great place to be around. Even a great place just to like hang out. You know what I mean? It's just a lovely place to be, and great for the photography.
It's one of the most underrated places in Wicklow to photograph, I think. The Black
Really, yeah.
Castle is. It's right beside the harbour. It actually featured in the movie The Guard. That's the
yes,
harbour
it
at the end
did.
of that. They come in from the Black Castle there. That's how close it is to the harbour, like if anyone's familiar with that movie. But yeah, a lovely spot.
Black Castle, very good. Never been there, never shot it. Have obviously seen photos of it, and it does look like a really cool spot. And I still, for some reason, I just don't associate Wicklow with being by the coast. I just
Yeah.
don't. I think it's because like Glendalough, like you don't envision Glendalough. Like you really, when you think of Glendalough, you think somewhere really far inland. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
It's
just-
true because obviously, like it's the Garden of Ireland, and it's full of all this, like, lovely scenery, and you don't think. But then you got British Bay and all. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's
possibly
crazy.
one of the nicest beaches in the country. So yeah, Wicklow really does have it all. It has Ronan, beaches,
Ronan,
Ronan,
Glendalough.
seascapes, Glendalough,
Ronan.
Ronan.
Is that near Loch Tay? There's a lot of lovely coastline here in Wicklow. I think Wicklow's really underrated. Since I moved down to where I'm living now, I've spent more time like out for walks around the coast, and I always thought the same. I was like, there's not that much to shoot here. But the more I've been out there, like with the kids and that, there's a fair bit. Like you've Mahermore, you've Ardmore Point, Maherbeg, British Bay itself. There's another beach south of British Bay. I can't remember the name of it now, but there's like probably 5 acres of pure sand dune, like better than the sand dunes of British Bay that are
Nice.
completely unexplored. Like then you've got the rivers and lakes running down from the mountains out through the sand dunes. Like there's a lot to see there. Like
Deadly.
Jesus, sounds beautiful.
One thing I've always been under the impression, and I don't know if it's just this preconceived idea I have from what other people have told me, but is that you will get better waves, better kind of therefore better seascapes over the other side of the country. So when I say the other side, I mean west. You're talking,
Wild Atlantic Way.
Yeah, the Wild Atlantic Way, yeah.
Yeah, she's famous for it. Yeah.
yeah, because like I just think that because folk that I know who are into surfing, that's where they'll go. So when you think surfing, obviously you've got waves, and when I think seascapes, I think waves. So I mean, would it be the case that I should be planning to go there next year? I planned to go to the Wild Atlantic Way in May.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, we were going to spend 5 days just going to a couple of little spots. That went well. So just
Sure, I had a full trip planned out. The whole Wild Atlantic Way. I was going to start in Kinsale, which is where the Wild Atlantic Way starts officially in Kinsale, and it goes the whole way up and it finishes in Donegal. There's 14 official stops along the Wild Atlantic Way. So when you say you want to go to the Wild Atlantic Way, you'll have to narrow it down.
Yeah, no, well, I was basically...
You're essentially driving from the bottom to the top of Ireland.
Yeah, we were starting in Clare and we were working our way up.
Lovely, brilliant. So you go
Yeah.
up towards Connemara, Dogs Bay
Yeah.
Beach, and up around Sligo, Mullaghmore, and then you're up towards Donegal. Beautiful
Yeah.
country, beautiful
but
country.
sure. Got ripped apart.
Yeah. Look, all our plans went to.
Do it
I was
next
meant to-
year. Be
I was
grand.
meant to go to Isle of Skye with Mark O'Brien in March. Literally the weekend of lockdown, we were meant to go. I think when lockdown came in. So here we are. I think the reason you get the bigger swell and the bigger waves on the west coast is because of like there's no country like let's say you go to Dunmore Head in Kerry, the next stop is America, like. Whereas over the other side in Wicklow, the next stop is what you're probably going towards. Is Holyhead. Wales, is it?
Right
England.
there,
Le go go la la gargan fuck.
You can actually you
So
can
you're
see
sheltered,
Holyhead.
like.
You can see Holyhead, can't you, from the Mott's Down? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you can see from Newtown Cape just up above you on a clear day. You can see Wales. You can see Snowdonia
That's
Yeah,
class.
in all its might. Yeah.
That's my.
So that's
my-
probably
That's
why-
my plan for the next clear day.
So you're probably sheltered,
Wales.
like, do you know, by the it's because it's just a channel essentially, as opposed to an ocean. Whereas in the west coast, like I think storms apparently get all their power from the ocean. So, like a storm coming across from America, down from Scandinavia, has all that ocean to build up all its power when it hits Ireland. Like whereas if it was coming across from Europe, it would meet England, which would probably take some of the power out of it, and then it would hit Ireland. So that's all I meant. Like apparently one of the largest waves in the world forms after Cliffs of Moher, the Aliens wave.
Really?
It's one of the biggest waves in the world, yeah. And she saw it there in the news a couple of weeks ago in Mullopmore in Sligo, 60-foot waves.
I don't watch the news.
Okay, well, what was the storm that just passed? Epsilon, is it?
What?
Epsilon. So there was in Sligo 60-foot waves. There was surfers, like the Red Bull surfers always chase waves on the west coast.
Lunatics.
But even if you're not chasing waves, like probably my favourite coastline is Clare, like just because I've most frequently shot it.
Yeah.
Clare or West Cork is beautiful as well. So yeah, I definitely be heading west for my favourite coastline.
It's literally on the cards for next year. And it has to happen.
100%.
Like,
100%.
has to happen.
Dogs Bay Beach in Connemara, it's honestly like the Bahamas. And I've never been to the Bahamas, but I have an idea what they might look like. And that's what it
And
looks
it's
like.
that.
Yeah.
Deadly.
So yeah, brilliant. So to finish off, a compositional tip. We'll start off with a safety tip. If you're going photographing on the sea, always check the tides, especially if you're walking on the beach, because I think we've all experienced if we've walked along and kind of walked around the corner of like cliffs or something,
Yes.
and next thing the tide starts coming in and you're up to your knees trying to get back around, like, which can be really dangerous. You can get cut off, like, you know, or people go into caves, and tide comes in and you could, unfortunately, people have drowned. Like people drowned in Ballybunion, I don't know, a good few years ago. Tide came in, they got trapped in the cave, and they unfortunately died. So always check the tides.
Yeah, just use your heads. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, just use your heads as well. Use a bit of common knowledge. Like, if it's a really, really rough day, if there's a weather warning and people say, you know, don't go near the coastline, don't be that hero. I mean, you'll probably get a deadly image, but just don't do it. It's not worth it. Yeah. Or
I have a
if you
good one for you that works,
Oh, yeah.
and it's proven to work. When you're going out to shoot the coast, give someone, your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever, give them the GPS coordinates of where you plan on shooting and tell them the latest you will be home. Because if you don't have phone signal or anything like that and you have a trip or a fall or whatever, then they'll be able to have a good area to begin a search where you planned on being.
Yes.
But I went out shooting the coast around Mahermore a few years ago, and I gave the wife the GPS location where I was planning on shooting, and I said that I'd be home by 6 o'clock or whatever it was, like. And there's wild horses down there. I got cornered by a big beast of a wild horse. And all my camera equipment, now honest to God, camera equipment, phone, everything was set up where I was shooting, and I had to leg it from the horse, and I was in this little old ruin just sitting there, and he would not give up. And I was like, well, this is it now. If I get out, he's going to absolutely leather me with a kick. But so I was like, I may just stay where I am. But the wife got the father-in-law and my father then to go down for a look. And they chased off the horse and saved my life. So
is this
it works.
actually a true story?
It's actually legitimately a true story.
That's like, that is amazing.
Why didn't we hear that on the wedding day? Like, that's one for the wedding day.
Do you know what I did to try and get rid of the horse? and it only attracted more horses. They had a foal. They had a foal with them. So I sent out the drone. I had this DJI Spark at the time, and I sent the Spark after the foal, thinking they'd go and chase the Spark.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it just made more of them come and attack me. It's like they
No
knew.
way. Oh,
Yeah.
'cause I was flying it over. I was flying my drone over like a herd of sheep, and they were not impressed. So, like, generally speaking, animals don't like
They
drones.
tell you.
Well, you can tell by the fact that they were just looking at me in disgust. Ronan, I can't believe you got cornered by a wild horse.
Big stallion lad, so he was.
It was a little puppy, wasn't it? Like, don't
You'd
lie.
want to see the length of his mane, which was huge.
Was it? Yeah.
But hang on, is there wild horses down there?
There is, yeah.
No way. Jeez, I must head down.
They're
Deadly.
beautiful to photograph.
Yeah.
There's wild
Yeah.
horse in Clare as well. Not when they're trying to chase you up a ruin on the west coast, on the east coast.
Ronan using a fast shutter speed because he's running once.
Firing off shots as he's going. Oh, that's hilarious.
Class. Speaking of fast shutter speed, I think that it's worth. Look, I think Ronan kind of taught me this as well. That when you're at the sea, you don't always have to slow it down. You don't always have to go milky and creamy and beautiful. You know, sometimes if you want to capture the rawness and the power of the ocean, like get it nice and sharp with a fast shutter speed.
100%.
It's just worth noting because the day myself and Ronan had that challenge, which we haven't really told that full story, have we? But the day myself and Ronan had the challenge at Black Castle in Wicklow, Ronan knew I was going to go, slow shutter.
I played you like a fiddle, Kev.
You did, man. Like, so basically, we swapped each other. We swapped gear. He took my bag. I took his bag. And I had never used a filter, an ND filter before, and I saw this thing, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I
give
put
me
them at the top of the bag. I knew you'd pick them up.
Yeah, I saw, and I was like, "Give me that." So just long exposure. It was a lovely shot, in fairness, but Ronan went the opposite, and
It was a
his
lovely shot. It was completely out of focus.
his shot. Well, I'd never used them before. But Ronan went the complete opposite direction, and you had really fast shutter speed, didn't you? And you had like power and it was just that opened my eyes as well to know that you don't always have to have the silky water. So worth noting.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. My tip for Seascape photography, I was going to say shutter speed there, but at a sixth of a second. But
you can.
yeah, I actually don't use filters that often in Seascape. My tip for Seascape photography would be pay attention to the direction of light, because it's very important. Generally, you wouldn't shoot directly into the sun for seascapes. Do you know, especially if the water's in the shot, because you just get that like white line through the water. Unless you blend exposures, it doesn't look that great. So, use side light. I really like to use side light in seascapes. And another tip is, and I've only used this once, but it did work. The CD discs on the base of your tripod. Stop it moving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and it does work, because especially if you're photographing that lovely motion and the waves coming in, the CDs do work. And don't forget your wellies. If you're like me and you love getting down into the water itself, wellies are essential for seascape photography.
Solid. Microfiber cloth as well. Obviously,
Yeah,
if
and
you're
some
really
spray.
close
Yeah,
to
actually, yeah, don't change your lenses
Oh,
really
Jesus.
close to the water, or else in a windy day when the sand is blowing, don't change your lenses. Bad. Learn from experience. Either go into a sheltered place or just choose your lens wisely, because
Stick to what you have. Yeah.
it doesn't sand, and you'll be surprised like, the sensor will only be exposed for 3 seconds. No, it doesn't matter. That's enough for sand to get in.
Yeah, and sea spray and all of that jazz.
Yeah, my Z6 after the Tourism Ireland trip, when I went down to Curraclow Beach and it was blowing a gale, I'd say there was easily a kilo of sand trapped in between the camera, the lens, in the bag, in the, like all the felt. toys and stuff like that. There must have been a kilo of Curraclow left over. Like, I had to stop at the garage and hoover it all off. It was mad.
Nightmare. So that's Seascape photography. In a nutshell, really, our experience with Seascape photography. It's one of those genres that it's very, very enjoyable, and anytime you can get out to sea, it's nice, even if you don't capture an image. It's just nice.
Oh, look at this!
And
He's
while
doing
we
it
have
again.
the ocean music playing in the background, I think it's time for Kevin's top 5 seascapers in Ireland.
Here we go.
First on the list, we have Katie Pearce O'Shea. Katie is a legend in the Irish community, and she brings us beautiful seascapes all across the country. Instagram name is Katie Pearce O'Shea. Next up, we have Paul O'Brien. Paul has been known to supply us with beautiful, striking images, shot by the sea, to be seen by all. Instagram name is Mr. Paul O'Brien. Next up, we have Ian White. So Ian White, which is Ian White _. Ian is also a man who produces stunning images by the sea and everywhere else. I recommend you check out all of these people. Next up, upon Ronan's recommendation, we have Kieran Hayes. Kieran Hayes Photography.
You aren't meant to tell him, sorry, no, not Kieran. Kieran Hayes, you aren't meant to tell him that I said something nice about him. He can never know that. No, sorry, continue.
Kieran Hayes, he brings the power of the ocean to life in his shots. And dear Lord, they are beautiful.
Beautiful.
And last but not least, because I think I've done more than 5, even though it was supposed to be a top 5. I'm not too sure. We have Emer Collins. EIMHEAR Collins. Check them all out. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kevin's top 5 or 6 seascapers.
A bus.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That wasn't even planned.
I just had to go. We just rolled with it.
And
you know,
those
those photographers are excellent, and they're really, really like. I know that kind of stuff. Like, that wasn't like a pace take, right? Like, that was actually, those are fantastic photographers, and like,
yeah, genuinely. So Katie
We
Pearce
just
O'Shea,
yeah.
Paul O'Brien, Ian White, Kieran Hayes, and Emer
Collins.
Yeah, Emer Collins.
Unbelievable.
Check them all out because they are class.
Yeah. Emer's one of those photographers that shoots like those soft, nice pastel seascapes I was talking about. You know, really, really good. Yeah, they're all phenomenal photographers. Really good seascape photographers. So, yeah, check them out. There we are. Thanks for that, Kev.
Very welcome.
We just got into a state of flow there and just went with it.
It was just a moment that just happened, and I'm glad it did. Do you know that?
Yeah.
You're getting good at this podcast and stuff, lads.
What? Yeah, I know, Ronan. You're actually Ronan. Hang on a second now. Do you know when I first played those clips at the very start of the podcast? You goes, Sean did something.
Sean did a thing.
I'm not that useless.
Sean did a thing.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
I?
Sean did a thing.
That's from the meme. Do all the things.
What meme is that?
I think you just made
all
that
the
up.
things meme. No, I didn't. It was basically saying that you were using the tools at your disposal
Yes.
that typically you wouldn't use. So you did
It's
a
true.
thing.
Okay. I actually
Yeah,
did.
it
This
was-
clips thing's a lot of fun. It feels like you're like a radio
It's
producer or something.
deadly, isn't it? I love it, man.
But,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Like, lads, a podcast is basically a radio show without any direction.
being
No, I'm
live.
joking.
Without any
Uh,
live audience,
listeners.
basically.
Yeah, no, but without any people telling us what to do. Like, we can just
Yeah.
do whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've no producer, so
Yeah.
yeah. This clips thing is great crack. I can see myself having great fun with this. Actually, I'm just thinking about how long did it take you? Like, you must have had like a line of clips along the screen here when you were doing the soundboard.
I literally, they pop up like little squares. And it's just dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you could, like it's so handy. So we record through Clean Feed, which is a plugin on Google Chrome. So that's why sometimes the audio can be a bit glitchy because we're basically relying on a good internet connection, which none of us have. Archive probably, and you can just add clips to like the timeline on the Clean Feed. You just play them, and they just start playing within the audio. It's actually phenomenal. You can change the decibels and everything. So, yeah, brilliant. To finish off the podcast, we're going to have a Ronan's roundabout. So, Ronan, would you like to grace us with a roundabout? Okay, so we have a red flashing light to start off with. We're being transported to the red light
that's
district.
ominous.
I have another controversial one.
Yes.
I
love a bit of controversy, I do.
After studying more into Luminar AI and seeing more of the future Adobe offers for this whole AI editing, I am very much now of the opinion that AI will make people who are good at post-processing better, people who are bad at post-processing worse. The reason I say this is I was talking to TJ Allen during the week, and he actually sent me a link to the video from Piximperfect about the new features in Luminar AI, the Iris AI, Portrait AI, skin retouching, all that kind of stuff. But like we mentioned before with James Baker, like James Baker has put an awful lot of time into learning how to retouch skin and eyes and lighting and dodging and burning and all this. But like Luminar isn't going to take that away. If anything, he'll be able to put the tools in Luminar to use better than anyone else would because he's trained his eye. So
Yes.
I'm firmly now of the belief that AI editing, for anyone who has put the effort in and hasn't been using presets and the likes of that, who's learned, edited a lot of photos and trained their eye in, I think Luminar AI will be a game changer for those people. But for the lazy people who perhaps use presets, only throw a couple of auto clicks here and there, I don't think they're going to get much use out of Luminar AI because I think they're going to severely overdo it. So in summary, it's basically Ronan has an opinion.
Okay, so I watched that video and I was I had some orange juice that night, as we like to call it on the podcast. But I was blown away by it. Like I was absolutely blown away by it. It's just like I think if the photo is very good or somewhat, as long as you get the photograph right to start with, you're going to be in a good position. You have to obviously nail it in camera first of all, because that's what it is. But it's especially for the likes of the portraits, like to get that look. Obviously now if I'm editing a portrait, like I'll do selective edits on the eyes, but it never really, because once again, as you all know, I don't do Photoshop, so I do it through Lightroom. But it never really looks natural, or else it never really looks how I'd want it to look, like the eyes.
Yeah.
So I think that I like that. I like that part of it. I wouldn't go changing people's eye color. Don't think that'd be for me. But it's cool that you can, and actually do it like correctly and not do it in a weird way. But it looks phenomenal, and I think it could really. Like, if you're thinking for like professionals, how much time it could save a professional photographer.
Yeah.
It could really free up time for a professional to then actually do more work, and shoot more. So
to give you an idea of how much time it could save a professional, say I'm delivering a wedding that has 500 photographs and I had to go through and retouch the skin in all 500 of those photographs. Like there could be a photograph where it's just the bride. There could be a group shot of 50 people like throughout those 500 photographs. So even though there's 500 photographs, there could be 4,500 faces or 4,500 pieces of skin to retouch. You can set Luminar AI to have a specific, like an action or a preset that just does a light retouch of the skin, and it will do it to everybody in that photo. So you literally set it to work and it'll be done in 10 or 15 minutes in a batch process. Like that would save you literally 4 days work.
Exactly.
Just that, like.
And time is money, especially when you're a professional photographer and running your own business. Like, you know, if that, like, that could mean that you could squeeze another wedding into those 2 days or those 4 days, do you know?
Yeah. You could do potentially do 4 weddings a week.
That is wild. And I thoroughly agree with you, Ronan. Thoroughly agree. And I also thoroughly agree that if it's a tool that falls into the hands of someone who hasn't learned the foundational skills, then it would just not benefit them. Do you know what I mean? It's just they wouldn't have the base skills. Like, and it's kind of like, I would kind of equate it to like if you were using kind of like trying to make sense of it. Like if you put a €2,000 camera in the hands of someone who doesn't have any foundational knowledge of photography or compositional skill, they won't take good photos. If you put a €50 camera or €100 camera in the hands of a quite experienced photographer, they'll still take good images. Do you know what I mean? Same thing. If someone has the foundation and the skills there, and you give them something like Luminar AI, they will use that quite well. Do you know what I mean? Because they know how to use it properly and know ways to do it. But you still, it's not a replacement for learning how to post process.
The way I said
I
it
think
to,
even like if I look at myself and my own. Oh, sorry, Ronan. Do you want to go ahead?
Sometimes it's hard to time it. This is why we zoom. Sometimes it's hard to time to cut across. But Ronan was speaking for a good 2 seconds and getting you launched into it.
No. Oh, there must have been a delay then. Hang on.
I did. We'll blame the internet. Yeah, the way I said it to TJ was, if you look back on the first photo you ever processed in Lightroom that you were over the moon with, where you applied 50 clarity, you put a tone curve on it, there was 500 contrast, and you used every single slider and every single brush and radial filter and graduated filter, like compared to how you use Lightroom now, like years later, not like weeks later, years later. I think Luminar AI has way more sliders that for anyone who has that kind of, ooh, it's shiny, give it to me attitude, they will be pulling every slider here and there and left and right and up and down. And like one of the things in Luminar, you can turn your eyes into cat eyes. Like there's so much in it. You can add giraffes to the sky. Like I think there's too much in it for the excitable post processor out there. I think people will be going nuts on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to see how it plays out. Have you ordered? Have you Luminar ordered?
I do, yeah. I ordered it after the episode we were talking about it.
Yes, I remember saying that actually. Kev?
Not just yet, but I'm going to, because I think it's something I want to play around with. So for the price, it's only 64 quid or 70 quid or something, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of just like they're just dangling the carrot, and you kind of just want to just take a nibble. So
I'll definitely give it a bash. Look, I just think, look, even if it's just for playing with it, like it's worth that. You know what I mean? Like I think so. I can see it. I can see the sky replacement thing being a bit cool. You know, I really hope. Look, there was a video I saw on, who put it up? It was Brandon Wolfel. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's a photographer from New York, and he had a model, and like literally there was like little gaps in her hair, and the sky like replaced in between the gaps in her hair. Like it was that precise.
Go away.
It's phenomenal.
He's the guy who does all the neon kind of lights things. Yeah.
Deadly,
his stuff is cool. Yeah, he's cool.
Deadly.
But
cool. The small gaps you'd see between like a couple of strands of hair, like it got that, and I was just like, holy dear God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That really opens up creative avenues, which is probably why I'd like to use it. So, yeah, interesting. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Thanks for that, Ronan.
I'd love to hear what everyone thinks, because I went from literally both ends of the spectrum. When I first heard of it, I was like, this is going to ruin photography. And now I'm firmly at the other end, where it's like, this is good for photography. It's going to be positive. It's going to help people. And I still think it won't give like anyone starting out an unfair advantage over what we had when we started out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
But
I was going to
I'd
say
love to hear
earlier-
what everyone thinks.
I agree.
Yeah, like I was going to say earlier on, like it was kind of as you mentioned there, like how I edited in Lightroom at the start was atrocious. Like there's no other word for it. Like it was butchering nice photos with like complete over editing.
Yeah,
and
same.
it is
Still do sometimes as well.
It can happen. It can, you know, when you're stuck in I hate when it happens, by the way. Like, you know, when you're too involved in a photo almost, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
and you want to make it work.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
And then you're still there, and then you leave it, and you come back, and you're like, dear God, is that actually what I was planning on posting? Like,
What was I
what?
doing?
That's exactly what I mean with Luminar, though. Like, you could go and add 14 different skies, and 4 elephants will be flying through the sky.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally do that. You can literally add giraffes and elephants and stuff to the sky.
Yeah.
Like, so I think there's going to be mad concoctions coming out of this. Mad thing.
Absolutely. Mad thing.
things.
But like,
We'll
look,
see.
it'd be very interesting. But I think once again, it'll all boil down to the less is more, I think. And
Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see.
yeah,
We'll
it's
have to wait and
exciting.
see. Interesting.
Exciting
Thanks,
times.
that, Ronan. That was very interesting. I'm always very intrigued about editing post processing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Speaking of Pix Imperfect, no, only joking. Or am I?
Kevin, you're terrible at podcasting. Sean, continue doing your job as
I
host,
have
please.
no idea what that was about. So, before we finish up, we would like to announce, obviously, and apology if you're already hearing this now, but you're well late at this stage. But the deadline is closed for the Tripod Ireland. Thank you to everyone who got their entries in, and the judging process is literally going to start right after I finish hitting record on this podcast, and we tie it all up. So yeah, that's exciting. And we'll go through the counties, and by God, it's not going to be easy. Let's just say it's not going to be easy. But look, here we are. So some show from all the
By
counties.
the time we
Thank you very
post this episode, the knockouts will be starting tomorrow on Wednesday.
Phenomenal.
much. On Wednesday, yes.
So
yeah.
So we should have everyone announced by then. Where are we? What date? This is coming out on the 17th. So yeah, 18th, Wednesday 18th. We're going to kick off.
Brilliant. Let's go. We're looking forward to it. And thanks to everyone who entered. And it's brilliant just to see people engaging with it, and it just goes to show that they're willing to put in the effort and engage with anything we do and with anything we run. So once again, that's down to the community.
Yeah, big shout out to all the listeners actually, because
Yeah.
they really are class. Like,
Yeah. We don't mention it enough, to be fair.
yeah, like every once in a while, my mind gets blown. You know, when you think that, like, I'm not going to say how many people listen to the podcast, but we do obviously have access to those numbers, and sometimes it's just like, that's insane. You know what I mean? It's crazy
Quite a
that
few.
that many people like take time out of their week to tune in and listen to us. But not just that, then, like the engagement we get on the community, on our Instagram, on all of our socials. It's just gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it though?
It is. It really is. And out of something that was just purely born out of lockdown, I think. So I know it
actually,
was
do you know what?
your
I was looking
brainchild.
back.
I have no credit in this podcast, by the way.
I was looking back over photos, and I had a screenshot that I sent to Ronan on the 11th of January of this year.
Go away.
And it was of a YouTube video, and it was like how to start a podcast. Now, your man's voice was like, he just says
Horrendous.
podcast. He says podcast about 7,000 times in this 6-minute video, and it's like
Got to
podcast.
get the SEO.
But it was just, I was just like, oh man, like it's like 11th of January of this year.
I actually did.
So-
We did find that. Did we create that group chat before the podcast started? The Tripod WhatsApp group.
That
We
was
had
for
this-
Ronan's wedding, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, because I never forget. Like, I sent in I ordered the interface and the mic off of Gear for Music, and I just screenshotted the order and just sent in the photo, and they were like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, this is it. This
March,
is it.
probably. I'm
And,
going to say March
That's what it was like.
I've never heard that. Kev, what are we going to call it? I'm going to call it a note, but like, what's the like that range? I suppose you could say like that high note.
Yeah, that was beautiful from you, Ronan.
Come out of your mouth. So it's a nice change from the monotone as he holds up a pint of Heineken. That's why.
Orange juice.
Oh, orange juice.
But yeah, now listeners, like genuinely really appreciate that. Without you, we're just three random lads sitting nowhere near each other at this moment, talking into microphones. So yeah, really appreciate it, and honestly, thanks for all your support and your feedback and your engagement, and just thank you. Now, before we end, Sean, do you want to hit that music again?
Yes.
No, I'm only joking.
Can I give a shout out to some of our very special listeners?
Yes.
Go for it. While the music is on.
I'd like to give a shout out to the one person in the Philippines that listened to us for 14 minutes. I'd like to give a shout out to the one person in Hong Kong who listened to us for 3.5 minutes. I'd also like to give a shout out to the 4 people in South Korea who tuned in for full episodes. I'd also like to give a shout out to the 6 people in Sweden, 2 people in Australia, 2 people in South Africa, but my favourite of all, the one person in Bahrain who listened to the entire episode. The stats are just incredible. We're international, minus like 99.9% of Africa, perhaps.
That is amazing.
But 21 downloads in Saudi Arabia.
Phenomenal. If you're listening to this right now in any country other than Ireland, what I would like you to do is find us on social media, tag us, or let us know exactly where you're listening from, and tell all your friends. Make sure you tell all of your friends, even if they've no interest in photography. Just tell them about it, because we want to be, known worldwide.
I just realised I was muted for all that there. Probably good because I was laughing hysterically when you said the 4 minutes from, what was it, Hong Kong? I lost and I fell off the chair. I was muted. I was like, oh, lads, that's Bahrain. It was a Bahrain, was it?
Bahrain, phenomenal.
Bahrain,
Where's Bahrain? Is that a country?
Middle East, isn't it?
It's in the Middle East, yeah.
Jeez, we're
That
popular
is
in the Middle East.
quality, like.
Yeah, we have
cannot believe
21
that.
listeners in Saudi Arabia, which
That's
is a beautiful
hilarious.
part of the
That's
world.
actually mad. Like, that's mental.
That is mental.
Right, should we finish with a poem? We'll finish with a poem. I've got a poem here. I don't know who wrote the
Is
poem.
this going to work now, Kevin? Like, do I have to
Yes.
cut this?
No. So this poem.
Do you want music?
Yes, please. I'm going to go along the lines of
Okay.
Blind Boy and say this poem was submitted by Matt Damon.
Okay.
I'm
Waters
already bored.
ripple. Dear God.
He ruined it. Go again.
Waters ripple. Wind does blow. Warm sun whispers. Flowers grow. Close your eyes in the silence. Savor times like this. Drink in every moment of nature's gentle kiss. Subtle in intention, wondrous in design. The magic time of silence. We were connected with the divine. It is there we find the start of peace, a momentary calm, a time of warmth and comfort with the power of a psalm. That was
I
calm
got
by Matt
bored
Damon.
halfway through there.
Kevin, that was beautiful. Ronan,
Thank
all
you.
I could think about was the scene out of The Simpsons where Homer's.
That's what I was
He's like, "Ew." This is my bed. Managed to sleep.
This has been a weird podcast, lads.
This has been such a
This has
strange.
been mad.
This is what happens when I get access to clips, though. I start playing around with it. Oh,
Don't
God.
end the episode yet, Sean. I want to just tell you this story about a time I got trapped by a horse. It'll take about 15 minutes. Yes. Get us out of here.
I honestly don't like. I think it's been a very good episode for all the wrong reasons, really. So I hope you learned something about photography in all this madness.
Shout out to the Bahrainian.
On a serious note, thank you very much to everyone who listens to the podcast. Thank you for listening to our Seascape tips. Thanks for listening to Ronan's story about his wild horses and getting trapped up a ruin of and Kevin's beautiful poem at the very end. And make sure to check out the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 photographers that we mentioned on the podcast. Their Seascape
and Rachel, we forgot to mention Rachel Tallyber, of course.
Rachel Tallyber, yeah, has to get mentioned. Probably one of the finest Seascape photographers in the world. So
she's up there with Sean O'Riordan, like.
No, Kev. I wouldn't hold a candle to Rachel Tallyber. So anyway, look, check up Rachel Tallyber. Thanks very much for listening. Knockout stages will be out tomorrow for the Tripod Ireland, so stay tuned to that.
Unless you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday of next week. Therefore, they've already started.
Apologies. So, okay, but tough. Such is life. Here we are. Okay, so thanks very much for listening. Have a good one and stay safe.
See
you
next Tuesday.
And there you have it, folks. Another episode of The Tripod.
If you did enjoy the podcast, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes.
And you can always subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to listen to more episodes, head over to www.tripod.ie, where you can find us on our socials, which include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Okay, Ronan, that's enough.
Be on Snapchat
that's
and
enough,
TikTok. And okay, thanks.